What's up, everybody? Another show with Hanging with Mark and Dougie. I'm pretty excited. Got a lot of great topics. What do you think, Dougie? You have some good topics for us today?
Oh yeah, man, I'm loaded.
Yeah, I like that. But I'll tell you what, man, it's been great. Everything's been great. The show's been great. We're getting a lot of feedback, man. Some good, a little bit of bad. We got a couple people out there, don't love it, but you know what? Most people do like it and they enjoy it. And it's a half an hour where you get to relax and enjoy yourself. But listen, everybody,
relaxing.
Relaxing. We need your support. So if you do like the show, it's easy, man. Just come watch us, subscribe to us, whatever you got to do, man. Makes us want to do it more.
And share it. So as you're watching us now, just start sharing it with people.
Without a doubt, man. It's easy to do, man. It gets us motivated, man. When we see people watching it, it makes us want to have really fresh topics and really, make a good show. We want to have a good show for everybody.
What did somebody say bad? What was bad? What was some?
I've heard a couple of things, where people see not everybody likes our political views. But I'll tell you what, Doug, me and you got into it a little bit last time. We had a little different opinion. We had a different opinion.
I just want to make sure I keep the things a little straight over here.
You're never gonna get me straight, brother. It's not gonna happen.
I'm like,
hey, no, I'm smiling. I'm smiling today because Conor McGregor got his ass whooped. He talked a big game for a guy that had 4 fights and won one of them. He hasn't had a win since the Barack Obama administration. Okay, and he's running his mouth to this guy. This guy seems like a class act. I like him. I like the guy. And even when he got knocked down in the ring and he got his clock cleaned, he broke his leg, and it happens. He's running his mouth on the floor. I'm like, when do you have humility? When do you say, you know what? I got my ass kicked. Congratulations. And that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's not good when you bring the wife in, right? Like, your wife's in my DM.
Yeah. And you're on the ground. It's not like he's on the ground. You're yelling at him. You're on the ground.
And your bone's sticking out of your leg, mate. Yeah, I didn't get to watch the fight, but I obviously he was still fighting. I don't know if he kicked his ass because that injury can occur with just like I said, it could have been a check or something like that. And that's like the small part of your bone and your bottom part of your leg or the tibia. So it's not like
Poirier was definitely the more aggressive fighter.
Yeah, listen, that's the life of a showboat, right? You want to come out and talk shit, and you want to come out and do all that stuff.
Up.
Well, he's been a badass.
But not recently. Not recently.
So what?
I was a badass back in the day. I'm not running my mouth to anybody.
Well, but so what? Now the question is, with all that money he's making with his liquor and stuff like that, that walk.
That stupid walk.
Yeah,
I used to like him. I can't stand him.
I just think, respect all fighters, and I understood we did that. And where he went, look, he became an icon in the fight game.
And I think he was homeless at one point. Listen, I respect the process he went through to become a champion. I do. I respect that. But to talk about someone's wife and say you want to murder somebody, it's just stupid. It's stupid talk. The other guy handled it with class, and I love it.
He was clearly not happy with the results of that fight.
Without a doubt, and I think he wasn't happy with the last 3 results of his last 3 fights.
Maybe it was a buildup. Maybe he was like, maybe if he loses the next one, he's actually going to accuse somebody of throwing the election.
So, I appreciate, his commentary. He's trying to be like Ali and all those guys, but you know what? It only works when you're winning. When you're losing, that doesn't work. Nobody wants to hear about it anymore, If you're knocking everybody out, you could do a lot of nonsense, Doug, did you do that when you fought, Doug?
No, I was pretty quiet. I didn't really talk. You know what I mean? I was one of those guys quietly came in and did my job. And why would I be? Most of the people I fought were like 4 inches taller than me, 50 pounds heavier than me. So I'm not going to, I'm going to go in there and pop off and then get beat. Listen, you don't want to do that. I never did. Like, there were certain sport like soccer, there was where our teams were so good that, we'd go, hey, you got, it's going to be.
When you're beating a team 19-0 at halftime, you can talk a little trash. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But, in the fight game, you never want to be in that position. That's why he lost his mind. He said, your wife's in my DMs,
Yeah. And I think I'll be honest with you, I think he lost a lot of fan base with that nonsense because I was on the fence with him. But listen, I liked Ali, but this was just ridiculous, man. And he's not winning anymore. And I think that's part of the showmanship. When you're not winning, you do desperate things.
Yeah. Like, next thing he's going to be doing is making a movie. And that hot God
with Ronda Rousey,
oh, worst show.
The Unwinnables.
Yeah, she was with. Yeah, she was with Stallone and all them, right? When the
Expendables.
The Expendables, yeah. Well, she's expendable as an actress.
Exactly. So talking about things that are getting damaged, because Conor McGregor got a little damaged.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know the definition of karma, but this might be pretty close to it. The Floyd statue, lightning struck and kind of damaged it a little bit.
Hold it. Wait a minute. Just as in Black Lives Matter now is protesting God in Thunderbolts. No more Thunderbolts.
And they say God's white. So if God is white, this is a hate crime.
God just struck an unarmed
an unarmed black statue. An unarmed black statue was attacked by a white man in the sky. Yeah, this could be big news.
Temple. Yeah.
And it probably is Trump's fault because I'm sure he prayed. This has something to do with Trump. We know that.
Yeah, they're going to give him credit now on being the chosen one, I suppose. By the way, who was at the UFC fight as well and got a good welcoming by Mel Gibson. Remember Mel Gibson said that.
Yes, and people did have a problem with that, by the way.
Now what's happened? Has anything happened to the statue? Is this the same one that somebody painted black?
No, this is the one that was. There's several statues, by the way, because he was a very good man. So they put up a whole bunch of statues of this man because he was great.
Tearing down all the other ones to make room for tearing down all the other statues to make room for George Floyd statue.
You need George Floyd and maybe George Jefferson when it's all over with.
I mean, that's the man you can respect, George Jefferson.
Exactly. Wheezy. At least put Wheezy up there. I like Wheezy.
George made it on up. I mean, George.
And I don't think George, I could be wrong, but I don't think George had fentanyl charges. He might have, but I don't remember George having fentanyl charges.
I don't remember George having any vices.
No.
Yeah, he was a hard-working dude, man.
Yes, he had a dry cleaner.
He was focused.
On the east side.
Yeah.
So the statue did get, the bus, wherever it was, or I think it was a mural actually, did get damaged. It was in Canton, Ohio. And, I think it was an act of God. I think God had enough.
Well, then you're showing favoritism, Mark, and we don't want to do that here. Otherwise we get a bad, I don't like it on YouTube. You know what I mean? But well, listen, who knows? Who knows? I mean, will somebody listen, most people today don't believe in God. I mean, I should say that most of the people that you're watching on TV, these with purple hair and blue, and shit, they don't believe in God. You know what I mean? So it's not a sign of anything. It's global warming. That's all about global warming. And
Al Gore told us about this.
Yeah, aren't we supposed to be dead by now? Didn't it, based on what Al Gore said?
The polar bears they're melting. The polar bears, the polar caps, the polar bears, all of everybody.
Listen, the polar bears started wearing banana hammocks. They're fine.
Oh, that's hilarious. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not sad about it. Are you sad about this?
About the thing getting blown up? No, I'm not, because listen, whatever. I don't give a shit about any statue. You know what I mean? I really don't. Like, I was amazed by the Statue of Liberty when I saw it.
Yeah, that's a cool statue.
The Jefferson Memorial. I mean,
nice. I love that one.
The Lincoln Memorial.
Sure.
Even the Washington Monument.
Yes.
That big Illuminati. You know what I mean? That's great. All that shit's great. If something happens to it, as long as nobody's on it, but I don't care. And, and if a statue bugs you, all right, if you give it that much power. But then I started thinking, when I smell angel perfume, it reminds me of an ex-girlfriend I couldn't stand. So.
Know what the best thing, how do you resolve a statue bothering you? It's simple. You don't walk by it. It's, it's a real easy thing to fix.
That's kind of it. Like, let's say you have to walk to work. Let's say it's on your way to work. You can't go out of your way. Like, that's infringing on your, if that's the case. So
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How many people actually have a job or are offended by the statues anyway? So let's get the work thing out of the way right now.
No wonder people aren't like
Let's get the work thing out of the way right now.
What's next? Are you going to assume that a certain class of people are incapable of carrying ID? Are you going to assume that people are incapable of making a photocopy at Kinko's, which, by the way, hasn't been open for 3 decades? Thank you, Kamala. Remember, Kamala said that. She goes, there's not a Kinko's. There's not a Kinko's on every corner. That's right. There isn't anywhere. They went bankrupt before even Blockbuster did, you stupid wench. Carry on.
Yes, carry on. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more later on with the George Floyd statue. I know it's a touchy subject for a lot of people, but the man wasn't a good man. He shouldn't have had a statue. And God said, you know what? Let's get rid of this thing. So let's go on to the next subject.
We'll have to
That's my take on it. And
We
I'm
haven't
sticking
confirmed
with
that with God, by the way.
I'll ask him tonight. I'm pretty close with him.
No one here at the Mark and Dougie show has confirmed that with God yet.
So another one from the National Felon League. You know what the National Felon League is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The NFL, the National Felon League. You know, the ones that have to take a knee, the ones that are perfect. Another one, you know, Richard Sherman. He's worth, I don't know, $100 million. Got arrested for domestic abuse, burglary, a whole slew of things.
Yeah.
You know, I love how they tell us how to act and how to behave, and these people can't behave themselves.
Well, you know, besides all that, to me, if you have money and success, why are you robbing anybody? And this could have been, you know, for all. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate because here's the problem. Here's my potential. You know, where this isn't anything about race or anything, but here's a guy who's making money. He's being, you know, I actually met a lot of ex NFL girlfriends. Like I used to have an office out in Weston area. So a lot of the guys the Dolphins were banging, these girls, these strippers, and they would give them a few $100,000 for a couple of years and they'd leave them after the wife found out. You know, these kind of women, you know, they would, you know, they'd have all this money, right? So these guys, they meet these crash test dummies, right? These girls, they're hot and shit, but they're, you know, you're not your wife. They're not my wife.
Exactly.
You know, they're like, ah. So then all of a sudden the girl goes to his house. You know, she has a key. She goes to the house and she grabs something from him, and then he goes to get it from her, and then she calls the cops on him. He gets arrested for burglary.
Oh, was that what it was?
I don't know. My point is that, you know, I don't know what it could have been, but you know, that's the shit you get involved with. That's one explanation. You know, I don't know. Maybe one day he said, you know what? I've been an all-star football player. I've been an icon. I've been in an NFL. You know what I want to do now? I want to be a criminal. I want to be a criminal.
You know, and the funny thing is, in America, it seems like we idolize the bad. Like you don't hear about Tebow anymore, and he's out there dancing with the Down syndrome kids, and he's doing all kinds of great things. You don't hear about.
So you were dancing with Tebow?
Say again.
I said you were dancing with Tebow.
I wish.
That's the second time.
So I know what you're trying to say, Doug. I'm ignoring you from now on. Whenever you see something like that, I'm just gonna act like you're not. I'm gonna do the same thing my wife does to me. I'm like, I'm going to ignore you for 2 seconds, and hopefully you'll go away with that nonsense.
Yeah, that's my day.
But you know, all these good people, the good people, and like Shaq. I love Shaq. I love Shaq. I mean, the guy does so much with his money. He helps so many people. He's such a good human being, and I think he needs to be celebrated. I need Tebow. Even Brady does a lot of things for the people, man. It's like if you had that kind of money, you could help that many people. Why not? And then you got these other hood rats like, you know, Aaron, what's the guy, Hernandez and all these people. They have all the money, Marshawn Lynch. They have all the money in the world, and they go back to gangbang. And it's like, what are you, stupid? No. It's like, you know, I mean, help people out. If you're making that kind of money, make a difference. Make a difference.
Yeah. Or just, you know, I don't know if I'm going to tell people to help people out, but just don't hurt anybody.
But why not help people out, you know?
No, why not? I think you should. But, you know, listen, who am I to tell anybody what to do unless it harms somebody else? That's the only
exactly. So, Dougie, I got a funny story to tell you. I'm going to tell you how bad of a gambler I am. I mean, I'm not like a gambler where I'm selling my shoes, but I'm going to tell you, I bet a game. I bet Italy to beat England. Okay. Right. I'm like, okay, they're slight underdogs. Okay. I got $260 to $100. I'm like, let's do it. Yeah, I bet a little bit of money on it. Italy wins, and I lost. Because they had to win before the penalty kick. So I physically won the game, but lost the bet. And that's why I don't gamble. But it was a great game. Yeah. And I can't believe they missed 3. Those are easy kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, you should do those in your sleep.
Yeah. When I was a goalkeeper, and I had a good reputation of saving penalty kicks, which when it happens as a goalkeeper, you hear cherubs. You know, when you save a penalty kick, you hear cherubs. Yeah. And but yeah, they should. 90% of the time, a guy should put it in the corner.
Let me ask you a question, Doug.
Nonsense, dancing around, and I'm going to kick the ball. Just drill the ball, pick a corner. One of my, Thomas Rongan, who used to coach me in college, he used to go up to the guy and say, "Don't do it. Just pick a corner and
go for it."
That's it.
But let me ask you a question, Doug. If that's the case, because you just said it, you said pick a corner, right? Why doesn't the guy just kick in the middle? You pick the corner.
One of the players did that. That's a great.
Yes, but why don't they do it more often?
Well, because if somebody does it more often, then people.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, okay. Because I watch it every time they do go to a corner, and I'm thinking, you put that puppy in the middle, they can't stop it. You're your momentum, you know? Yeah. I thought that was kind of interesting. Now
they've changed the rules on penalty kicks. You used to be able to move on the line, but You can move as long as you stay. They've made it. It's just been ridiculous, and nothing worse than I remember we played a high school game in North Miami Beach in the regional finals at Coconut Creek High School. I saved 3 penalty kicks in a row, and the referee kept saying he's moving before the whistle. You know what I mean?
What's the
He's moving
difference?
before the whistle. Well, you're not supposed to move before the whistle. So my trick was I would actually, as the guy was coming up to kick it, I would jump out. I wouldn't jump to a side. I would just kind of jump out, and then as I was jumping, try to feel, and then bounce one way or the other. Now I just bounce and roll, but that's different.
But if you're moving before the kick, you can see the kicker can see which way he's moving. You can kick it the opposite way.
Well, that's the rule now. You can move as long as you stay on the line. You have to have your feet on the line. You can't be off the line before he kicks it. You have to be on the line.
Here's the problem I have, because I played soccer too. I didn't play quite at the level you played at, but I was decent. I was okay. And I don't remember, even as a child playing at 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, flopping like these guys flop.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to watch. And they act like they got killed. Like some of these people are rolling over and they barely got touched. It's like embarrassing.
Yeah. They all look like somebody just pulled their tooth. Yeah, no, they try to like stop it a bit. You know, they had the referees, like, you know, give them cards, you know, for flopping and stuff. But it's just, it gets out of hand.
Because if you really do get hit, no one's going to believe it. Because you're flopping every 2 seconds.
Well, you have to be like the guy from Denmark and actually have a heart attack.
Did someone actually have a heart attack?
Fucking faking. Yeah, in the Euro Cup at the beginning of the year, one of the first games, the guy Eriksson from Denmark ended up having a stroke and a heart attack. And
is the guy okay now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not playing. He didn't play all the rest of the games, but he's alive.
That would be a tough guy if he went to the next game with a heart attack and scored the winning goal, man. I'd have a lot of respect.
I think they had some heart attack protocols.
But, you know, I do like soccer because I do believe that's one of 2 sports where they're really athletes. I mean, I believe hockey players are really athletes, and I believe soccer players are. I mean, just how they play the game, their stamina is amazing. Hockey, they do it on ice. You know, then you watch a game like baseball, and I feel like anybody could do that. I mean, I know it's hard. It's balls coming fast at you, but you learn reflexes. But it's not like soccer where, you know, the main things are your hands, you know, and you have to control everything.
Well, not only that, like, I was watching the All-Star game last night, and they don't do this in a regular game, but they mic'd the guy on third base, which is the hot corner.
Yeah.
But they're talking to him, you know, and he's, you know, so you couldn't do that. You can't do that in basketball. You can't give a guy a mic while he's playing. You can't do that in soccer to a guy who made the goalie. Yeah. But anybody else, you can't give them a mic.
But they do it in football.
Well, they mic them, but you know what I mean?
Because of receivers and some of the linebackers, they mic, and it's like you see everything. Yeah, I like the mic, by the way.
I love the mic, but they're not talking to you. They're not saying, "So, Bill in the studio, what do you think of my hair?" No, they're actually just, you know, game.
You hear grunting. You hear grunting. Yeah. I got you. You hear the trash talking, which I like. It's funny you say that because one of the greatest things that I've ever been to a sporting event. You're laughing when I tell you this, but it was great, and I'll tell you why it was great. I got invited to a Daytona 500, and I'm not into car racing, but it's cool if you get the headphones. You know, you get a redneck family that has an extra set of headphones, and you put them on.
Family. Why is it got to be a redneck?
A hillbilly family, you know. But you get the headphones on, and you get to hear these guys with the road rage, like, "I'll kill you!" Oh, it's great, dude.
When I'm not a big NASCAR fan myself, but you know, I like when you're watching it and you're in the car with them. You know what I mean? When you're seeing that. Yeah, the camera, that's badass to me because you're like watching.
And those guys are athletes.
Yeah.
There they are for 4 hours. I can't drive down the street without stopping to use the bathroom and get a
hold
drink.
Like this. You got to keep that friggin'. I mean, you got to have carpal tunnel syndrome.
Think about it. They're in this little cage where you can't even move for 4.5 hours going 180 miles. That's insane. Yeah. They say they lose like 15 pounds every race.
Well, maybe I should start racing cars.
Dougie, how'd you lose so much weight? I joined NASCAR. Yeah. I'm a NASCAR racer now.
I've come in last place, but I've lost 40 pounds.
I lost 40 pounds, but I suck.
Yeah.
So here's some interesting news. You played video games growing up, right?
Sure.
What'd you play? You played Pong, Bing, Bing. You played the Pong?
Our friend Hans Guth had Odyssey, which is a pretty cool game.
I remember Odyssey.
Remember Odyssey was a little better graphics than the time than Atari had.
Yep. ColecoVision came later on.
Yeah, Nintendo. I've had the PlayStation 2. I think I had up to PlayStation 2 and the portable one, which is pretty cool. I ended up playing hours.
Do you have any of them still lying around?
No. Matter of fact, before I left, I took them to the old GameStop place.
Okay.
And I brought them to them, and that guy there told me, they're not worth anything.
Well, you're not going to listen, Doug. You might not want to hear this.
What?
A Super Mario 64.
I had one of those.
Just sold in auction for $870,000.
It might have
been yours, Doug.
It was that guy from GameStop.
It might have been yours.
No wonder they're laughing their ass off when I walked out. Bastard.
They gave you like another video game of like Yentl or something.
Yeah,
but that's funny. Think about it. Almost $1 million a video game sold for in an auction.
Wow.
That is insane. Now, I knew they were good because someone came into my shop and I bought the Silent Scope, Nintendo, and the guy still had it in the box. And that's rare because who gets one and doesn't play it? I mean, it's impossible. And I bought it for $100. The guy goes, give me I sold it for $2,800 on eBay. So I knew they were expensive, but $1 million for a video game? Oh, come on.
Maybe that's what Richard Sherman was stealing.
Exactly.
He was trying to steal that Nintendo game,
Isn't that crazy?
Probably better than his contract.
But what is this guy going to play the game? What's this guy going to do for $1 million?
I imagine somebody has that much money to use at that discretion. I'm sure he can come up with something pretty good.
It's like the Silver Spoon house. Remember Silver Spoon's the guy like
spoon. That's a platinum spoon, baby.
Exactly. But I thought that was kind of interesting because I know the market's going pretty good with auction with baseball cards and everything, but you would never think a video game would sell for almost $1 million,
Yeah. Hey, we're talking about all this fun stuff, but I want to bring it back because you liked it when Conor McGregor lost because he was a showboat, right? Sure. I like that too. I like when people who talk shit, eat shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I like when people who talk tough end up being wussies. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, when the firefight starts, they run and they shit their pants. Well, your friend, my friend, attorney Michael Levanti, Avenatti, who was the Democrats. They thought there was a while there that he was the top of the Democratic
He was running
Party.
for president.
He was going to be president.
He was going to run for president.
And Joey Behar and The View were like, oh, he's just so handsome.
And they were listening to him. I remember he was talking about stuff with Donald Trump, and they were listening to his creepy porn lawyer.
I appreciate it if you didn't call me a porn lawyer. Well, what other clients do you have, schmuck? You know what I mean? And then they gave her, the chick a key to the city in L.A. or whatever it was.
Yep.
Well,
I remember that. Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels. She even tried comedy for a while.
She blew it, by the way.
Several times.
The comedy, she blew it. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you imagine? She's good at blowing things. Michael Avenatti cries like a bitch when he was sentenced to just 30 months in prison. Whined like, you know what I mean? Here he is, I could do whatever I want.
30 months in prison for him is going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people asking him about torts. And, and there's going to be a lot of people asking about broken contracts.
He's not going to know what his gender is, believe me. He's going to be very confused his gender while he's in there.
He's not Michael. He's no longer Michael Avenatti. He's going to come out as Mariana.
Michelle Avenatti.
Yeah, Michelle Avenatti.
You know what? Screw him. He talked so much trash. He was such a punk about everything. He ran his mouth. I'm glad.
You could tell he was a poser.
Yeah.
The other thing, we were talking about soccer. I don't know if you caught this on the Euro Cup, but when England beat Denmark and they got a penalty kick in overtime to win the game. There was controversy because, first of all, when the English lost to Italy, and you still lost your bet.
Please don't remind me.
Well, when that happened, the hooligans, the English hooligans, the fans, they were beating the shit out of some of those Italians
coming out of the stadium. Yep.
Yeah, they were like,
But you know what? How stupid do you have to be to go to an English soccer match? Those guys are known for that. They throw bricks at people. They're the roughest people in the world.
Yeah, they're hooligans.
Yeah.
I mean, hooligan, how much worse can you be?
Hey, can you imagine wearing an Italy shirt coming out? What kind of idiot you have to be,
Our good late friend, Cooch, who passed away last year.
I remember Cooch. Sorry to hear that.
He's a good dude. Whenever he would go to the Dolphins Jet games, that was the ticket he would always ask me to go with. Because he always... I want your karate ass here. I want your hands here.
Why? There's more Jet fans than Dolphin fans.
I know.
There's no problem with that.
But I'm just saying and he would wear this Dolphin jersey. I'm like, dude, I'm not even going to wear the colors. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be that guy in the middle. So Because that would happen. You know, Cooch would get into a fight, and I ended up going.
But the funny thing about that, Doug, is it's funny that you said that because I went to several Dolphin games, you know, and whoever the team that's playing the Dolphins, that's the fans. Like I've heard the announcers say, "Where are we?" Like there's really no fans in Miami.
No, well, they're fair weather fans. I was there. I was at the game. Remember talk about fair weather fans in Miami when the Miami Heat were in the playoffs and they were losing, and then people started leaving. Remember, half the place left, and then they came back and won it.
Ray Allen
people wanted to get back in. People wanted to get back in, and I admit, my wife and I, we were actually left our tape. We left, and I was watching it on. You see it on the screens, and I felt the vibe. You know, I'm like.
Yep.
No,
I remember that game.
We're going back. Let's get back to the seat, and we witnessed it. We almost left. Fair weather fans. They all wanted to get back in. But at this game, the English game, the English fans were putting a laser in the goalkeeper's eye. So there's pictures of the goalie just before the penalty kick with green lasers in his eyes.
But you know, that's the advantage of having home field advantage, man. Yeah. There's always going to be noise or something going on.
And there's been a lot of crap going on in NFL games and fans getting crazy with, you know, like I know your buddy LeBron was having an issue with this blonde chick. Remember, she was giving him some shit.
And you know what? She did nothing wrong. She called him a punk because he is a punk. He's a punk.
He's a flopper.
I hope Space Jam's bombs because he's not Michael Jordan. He's not an entertainer. He's not entertaining. Michael Jordan was entertaining. He had the look, you know. Make Shaq. Shaq should have been in that movie. Shaq is a big guy. He could have played one of the guys in it.
He's tried.
Nobody wants to see LeBron anymore. People are tired of LeBron. They really are.
I agree. I don't like the guy. And people say, why? Well, I lost a lot of money when he left the Heat. I made a lot of money when he was there when I used to sell my tickets. But you know, in that one playoffs, I got cramps. Yeah.
He was no Jordan. I mean, Jordan played with 105 attempts.
And you talk about soccer players flopping. When you watch this guy flop, as big as he is, like,
and he cries to the refs.
Yeah, he's always.
And you know what's funny? I'm sorry, Doug. You know what's funny? Michael Jordan used to get hammered by Ewing, Olajuwon, Anthony Mason. The rules were put him on the ground. You touch LeBron, he's like a fish on the floor.
Yeah.
Hey, so,
speaking of a fish, I have to share this one.
Good.
Nevada's beautiful. You know, it's home of Las Vegas, right? Nevada, home of the drought, the Hoover Dam.
Yes.
It's really bad out there, but now Miss Nevada is the first transgender woman to ever win a woman's beauty, like Miss Nevada. She's going to be competing in Miss U.S.
So what's her skill? Arm wrestling? What's her skill? What's that she's going to do in the skill competition?
She's going to be arc welding. I mean, listen, she's pretty hot. I mean,
she's pretty hot.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you're looking at, you know, a guy with
you know what, Doug, please.
Listen, what
he just ate like 10 minutes ago.
What's going on, man? Don't be so like unwoke. You got, you know, I'm just saying she's like, you know, if you've had have you been out and you look at, wow.
If she didn't have a penis, she'd be hot, you're saying.
Well, I'm just wondering how the bikini part, like the bathing suit, you know, I don't know if they do that anymore. Didn't I hear like some of these like pageants now, they've actually taken away the bikini.
They're going to be in trench coats pretty soon. Trench coats and skinny jeans, and purple hair.
Come out in burqas.
Hey, Doug, we can't have anything, Doug. We can't even have Miss America. You took Miss America away from me.
Well, you know, who wants Miss America when you have red porn? You know, I mean, you're.
By the way, it's red too, but you were close.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, trying to act like I'm really not on it.
I know nothing about it. Lucky guess.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it. I mean, it's like Playboy. Remember how bad Playboy just went out of business? You know, because like Playboy, with you know, people weren't reading Playboy for the cartoons.
But you know what? What happened to women's sexuality in the Me Too era, where women were allowed to be women? What happened to that? We forgot about the Me Too era. Now men are allowed to be women. It's just, when does it end? Why can't we just have Miss America? Can I just have Miss America? I'm not asking for much. Just Miss America.
How would you like to be if you were the runner-up, like in Miss Nevada, like you came in second place in 2021.
You lost to a guy with a dick.
You lost to a dude. You know what I mean? Is it? I mean, well, the good thing about it, unlike the sporting thing, right? It's not like a dude thinks he's a woman competing in women's sports, because that's unfair. That's just unfair. It's a guy, right, who made himself so damn hot that he he outdid these women. And you know what? I'm not going to be hard. Congratulations, buddy. That is an achievement. I applaud it. I applaud it. He got so hot. Listen, that would be an achievement. If you're a guy, you can get so hot that you beat hundreds of other women for being the hottest chick in the state. I'd bow down. I won't bow down that low.
But she's not the hottest chick in the state. She's winning because of the movement. Come on. You're going to tell me she's hotter than all these other girls? Get out of here.
Are you saying that Miss Nevada slept with a couple of the judges and she said
no? I say that America. Listen,
for me, I'm going to tell everybody that you went down on me in my Buick.
No, I think with today's society, they have to. Have you seen some of the stupidest movies that are winning awards now because they have to have one transgender, one African American, one Chinese? Every movie makes no sense now because you have to have plots that have all those characters in it.
It almost looks unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, they don't make good movies anymore. And now I can't watch Miss America. Miss America's over. You ruined it for me. Thanks, all Doug. Right. Thanks. The one thing I had left in this world, you took it away, but I appreciate it. Any other bad news?
I'll get you a subscription to RedTube.
Thank God we don't need it. That's the one thing, man. Kids are blessed today. When we were kids, we had to find Victoria's Secrets. Kids have it going on today.
You remember, I had a friend that had the film projector, like the one you'd go to school and watch a film. And we were watching porn on a film projector. I mean,
I remember.
You know how hard that is to break down. You know how hard that is. You know how hard that is to break down when the parents come. Oh,
you got a whole projector. Hey, Doug.
Closet.
It's bad enough now when you have 3 seconds notice where it's 3 seconds notice you can't get the computer screen off. You're like, oh my God, what you doing? Nothing. You hit all kinds of buttons.
Even in the VCR day, right? Like girl, your wife would come on, whatever. You had in the VCR. You're like, oh, what are you watching? And nothing. It goes off all of a sudden. Thing pops out. Gangbang porn.
How did that get in there? What? I'm suing the VCR company because that came with the VCR. I'm telling you, I did not have that.
Somebody didn't rewind.
This is not my penis pump. Hey, so here's some funny news. I mean, this is kind of crazy. I don't know how funny it is, but it's sad and funny. How you like that one? Yeah. So the guy's just sitting on TV, sitting home and just watching TV, whatever he's doing. Maybe he's with a group of guys and they're hanging out, getting ready to go to a big party. All of a sudden, the sky opens up, 8 kilos of cocaine goes right through his roof into his lap.
Into his lap? That's pretty heavy.
You figure that out.
Wow.
Yes, this happened in San Pietro. Italian airplane, a pilot dropped it by accident, let it go at the plane, and it dropped into someone's living room.
He dropped it by accident. He was being tailed by the cops.
Could have been that too.
Oops.
Yep. Well, he let it release, and it was 8 kilos, and the guy reported 4 kilos missing. The guy that and they went out and had a good time Friday night.
Yeah, I would like to return these 3 kilos of cocaine.
And the guy has powder all over his face. He's got powder. Sir, I found these 3 on my thing.
He's hanging around somebody else. I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. He's got.
You know what? That's the last thing I would need in my life, is that dropping through my house and the aggravation of the feds coming to your house, investigating your house and all that. I mean, drop money through my house and I'll be happy.
Yeah, money's easy to hide, but like a few kilos of cocaine, and that's bad enough. Like back in the day, when you had it in your pocket, you're like, you ever try to go to sleep when you had it? You're like, I can't go to bed. I got stuff. What am I gonna do? Leave it for tomorrow? Yeah, horrible stuff. Don't do it, kids.
No. Say no to it. Even if you like the way it smells, let it go. Just let it go. Not a good thing.
Yes, it is the devil's drug. It is the devil's drug because you'll end up doing things that you never thought you would ever do.
Well, I think we touched almost every subject. I think there was one more that you wanted to bring up, and I would love for you to bring it up.
Well, I brought up Miss Nevada.
Yes, you did.
I brought up the this dude. All right, I love how the Democratic Party is the toughest party. Well, in Texas, like a lot of states, they're having these voter rules coming out where they want to make sure that everybody gets to vote, but we want to make sure every vote there's no cheating. We want to make sure there's no cheating.
Are you saying the Democrats cheat?
Yes, we know they cheat. Listen, this Abrams, the beast. What's your name? I call her
Mrs. Strahan.
Stacey Abrams. She'll have hell to pay in it within a not too distant future. But you want to make it. You want to make how hard is it to get an ID? How hard is it? Oh, it's too hard to get an ID. The government wants to be able to come into my house and give me a vaccine, but you can't. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. So in Texas, basically the state Senate wanted to sit down. They're going to have a vote on passing this, and it was going to pass. So what did the Democrats do? They flee. They flee.
They can't handle it.
They left. They got on buses. They got on airplanes, and they got flown to fucking Washington D.C. where they all huddle together and go, "What do we do now? I don't know. We don't have anything. We just critique other people." And then they're all. And now the best part, the state has pulled out the legal books, and even Cruz and the best minds of Texas have said, we legally can arrest them.
It'll never happen.
State of Texas,
I hope it does, but it'll never happen.
Released the Texas Rangers, to go collect them, those losers, those do-nothings, do-knowers. And it was funny because they were all trying to sing the song "We Will Overcome," very inspirational song. But they were trying to sing it, and nobody knew the words. They're all sitting in front of like a cameras and like
Well, it's kind of like Joe Biden not knowing Juneteenth. He's the one that's for the Black Lives Matter. He doesn't even know Juneteenth is.
Yeah. And by the way, did you hear what he said? He got quoted as saying, "It's not about just the right to vote anymore. It's about who's counting the vote." He said it. He said it. We want to count the votes. He
doesn't know what he's saying.
There is no reason. Every time somebody brings this shit up to me, I'm like, okay, you mean so? All right, I get it. You're not going to talk about defunding the police anymore. I get it. Yeah, I know. All right, you don't want to admit you were fucked up on that one. But in the meantime, you want to go ahead and tell me now that it's racist for somebody to have an ID to vote.
You need an ID for anything. You need an ID to get liquor. You need an ID to get cigarettes. You need an ID for everything in this country. You need an ID. Everything.
Easily one of the most, besides for serving your country in war, right? Or
easy to get an ID.
Voting is your God's given right to do it. And you know what? Here's the big thing. If I'm voting, I don't want somebody else to get 18 different votes when I'm only getting one.
It cancels you out.
So don't give me your fucking patriotic horseshit. But that's what Democrats do. They like to mirror it or dust it up with like, oh, we're patriots. This is for the country. It's a God-given right. Like somebody said, why can't somebody go to somebody, give them a bottle of water when they're voting? Because that's holy ground. You're not supposed. There's rules. You can't politicians.
You give something, then they do something in return.
Yeah. What are you? You got to give them a bottle of water with a donkey on it. You're going to give them the water and go. Don't forget that you're supposed to vote.
They want you to be persuaded.
Right. You should not be You can't be giving gifts. If you want, put a bunch of water where they're going to walk in. And let them get it as they walk in, or just put a box.
It's never going to be fair, and that's the sad thing about it. This last election really was terrible, man. It just was. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but it was very unfair. And anybody thinks that it was a fair election, it's something wrong with you.
Well, like they say, there's no evidence, and I always say,
so much evidence. There's so much evidence.
It's amounting, and it'll eventually all come out. But whether it takes the same time to find out about UFOs and who killed John Kennedy, we'll never know. But but most. By
the way, the mafia killed John Kennedy. But
yes,
that's okay.
Yeah, not 95%, 97%. I forget the actual number, but it's around the range. 96% of the crimes committed in this country are never solved, and many of them are solved. Guess why they're not solved, Mark? There's no evidence. There's no evidence of the crime. That doesn't mean the crime was not committed. So just understand that. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm saying you can't say that this didn't happen because there's no evidence.
Mm-hmm. But there is evidence. There is evidence.
Listen,
there's lots of evidence.
First of all, the evidence is what 80 million people would have voted for this Muppet.
Well, I mean, there's more evidence than that. I mean, Wisconsin had 80% participation voting. It's impossible. It can't happen.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So, and there is evidence. But you know what? We overlook the evidence because conservatives don't care. They just want to wake up every day, enjoy their life, hug their wife, hug their kids, enjoy, go to work. They don't care about this nonsense.
We don't wake up just looking for somebody to blame for our unhappy.
Everything that we screwed up on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But you know what, Doug? I'm pretty proud of me and you, and I'll tell you why. We went about 32 minutes without speaking about Biden, and that's a record for me. So that's a round of applause for me and you, Doug.
It's like an addiction. It's like you beat it.
Yeah. Sometimes when something's so easy to talk about, you talk about it. It's just too easy. But we're going to wrap it up. You know what? It's a great show. Hopefully, we'll have one next week. I'm going to try and get the studio going and everything. But listen, guys, all kidding aside, me and Doug love doing this because it's fun, first of all. Second of all, we like to get our voice out. We do. I mean, it's cool to get your voice out. Everybody else has their voice. I want to have my voice. And, we're going to continue doing it. We just need the support. So just go out there and like our videos or subscribe to us. And, we appreciate it. And Doug, what are you doing, man?
I'm going to be at Laughs in Boston this Friday night at 9:30 show, competing in the World Series of Comedy. So if you're in Boston area, come to Laughs.
Great city, by the way.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So that's where I'll be this week.
Yeah, great city, man. I love Boston, man. By the way, you got to go to the old area of Boston with the antique. They have a restaurant that has been opened up for almost 150, 180 years. Yeah. And they got pictures of people from the 1800s serving. It's really cool, by the way. But you got to check it out. It's like an oyster place. It's 2 levels. It's really cool.
I thought I was definitely going to go into Little Italy. I like Little Italy in Boston.
Yes. Boston's cool. Nice. Boston's a great city, man.
Yeah, great city. Food. Can't wait.
That's awesome, man. And me, I'm just doing what I do, man. I'm buying, I'm selling, I'm having a good time, enjoying life. And now I can't watch Miss America, so I'm a little bummed out, but that's all right. It's okay. There'll be other things to watch, Guys, love what you do. Keep watching, keep enjoying. We're just hanging with Mark and Dougie, having a little fun. Peace out.
That's it. See you guys next time we hang out. How do you like that?
Yes. Hopefully it'll be next week.
That's
and we'll be live, I guess, today at 8:00.
Yes.
So come watch us. Facebook, YouTube.
We've been live. Go to our fan page on Facebook, Hanging with Mark and Dougie, and our YouTube channel. And again, like we said, spread the word. We appreciate it.
Please do. Peace out, everybody.